up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing, back with my follow-up video. And this is from Tom Loeffler, his Twitter account. He, as you guys know, handles this man right here, Ggg Golovkin, and they're looking for an opponent. It doesn't look like Canelo and team want that particular fight. They said somewhere in the near future, well, actually distant future, in 2017, possibly the fall. So Triple G, he has to move on with his career, with or without Canelo. Now, I did 2 videos about this. Check it out. Eagle Rumor Mill, Ggg Golovkin, Chris Eubank possible Eagle Rumor Mill video. And I also did the Chris Eubank versus Tom Doran fight, where he called out Triple G. He said, Triple G, I'm coming for you. A lot of people are afraid of you, but you're not indestructible. I want that fight. If I can't get it, Billy Joe Saunders. So Tom Loeffler either watched the fight or he's responding. And let's check out what he had to say. Congrats to Chris Eubank Jr. on a big KO win. Ggg Golovkin willing to come to the UK to defend all of his world titles. And he mentioned Eubank's promoter, which is Matchroom's Eddie Hearn. Now, again, I like the fight. I think this is a good fight. Again, some people might be critical and say this or that, but you have to keep in mind, this guy, okay, first of all, a lot of people are going to sidetrack you and talk about other things, like the Andre Ward. We're past that. Ward is at light heavyweight. He's fighting Kovalev after they get past their mandatories, and it is what it is. When that was relevant, I was talking about those particular fights as well, but that's not the topic of conversation now. You had a fight with a Canelo that could be made, and it looked like this man here wanted it, and for whatever reason, Team Triple G didn't want the fight, right? So, or excuse me, Team Canelo didn't want the fight, so he has to move on with his career, and it is what it is. So it doesn't look like Billy Joe Saunders wants a unification with him, and Danny Jacobs is likely to fight Sergio Moro. It is what it is. So Chris Eubank is a solid opponent to fight him. It's an athletic guy, about Golovkin's height, maybe even a bit taller. I'd have to look it up to corroborate that. But Golovkin is willing to, look how calm he looks right there. He's willing to defend his belt and his newly acquired WBC belt, because Canelo gave it up in the UK. So that takes cojones to even do that, because the UK, trust me, I've seen plenty of UK fights where the UK fighter was getting a lot of favoritism. I also posted on the AJ fight, the commentary a lot of times is really biased. So even though Golovkin is loved and he's a fan favorite, you never know when you go over there with UK judges and UK commentary and the UK crowds. Let me tell you about the UK crowds. I used to live in England, and they're some of the most loyal fans. Look at the AJ crowd. Look at Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg, 20,000 plus people supporting their countrymen. You know what I'm saying? So that takes guts to do that, because even though he's a champion, and like I said, people like Golovkin, you're still on hostile territory, and it is what it is. And again, I can't confirm this until it's confirmed, but if I took an educated guess, I could almost assure you that Canelo is not fighting Liam Smith. That's who he's fighting, but he's not going to fight him over in the UK. And Golovkin, as you heard from his own promoter, is willing to do that. He's willing to go over to the UK to fight a Chris Eubank. He doesn't have to do that as champion. Reminds me of kind of Amir Khan. Amir Khan is a road warrior as well, where he was going to DC as champion to fight Lamont Peterson. And arguably, it was a bad look, because that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. A lot of people thought the 2-point deduction that Lamont Peterson was given credit for, that's what cost Amir Khan the fight, and they thought that was a little bit egregious. So no matter how you slice it, that's a risky move to go over to the UK and fight anybody. You know what I mean? Especially when they're the hometown fighters. It is what it is. I've seen it time and time again. You risk bad judging, biased commentary, things of that sort. So I like the motion from Triple G if he can't get the name fights that he wants, like a Canelo. Don't stall out your career. Speaking of Amir Khan, that's what, to me, Amir Khan did wrong. He was pursuant to a Mayweather fight. Everyone wants that fight, even Golovkin. Canelo probably wants a rematch. Who knows? It's associated with the big payday, and you get a lot of credit if you beat Mayweather. So everyone wants that fight. Also, Khan wanted a fight with Pacquiao, but the difference is he was willing to stall out his career in multiple spots where he wasn't fighting and he was inactive, merely to chase those big fights. And then he, in the end, didn't get Khan didn't get a fight with Pacquiao or Mayweather, and then he ended up going up to 155, doing pretty good, and then getting brutally knocked out by the much bigger Canelo Alvarez. So it's not worth it. And the reason I'm bringing up Khan is because you should never stall out your career because someone else doesn't want to fight you. Whatever the reason, if they're ducking or they don't feel you're worth it or whatever the situation, Golovkin and team, they are not doing that. Golovkin, they want the Canelo fight, obviously, because the name associated with it, and that'll be the biggest win on Golovkin's resume. But they got to fight somebody, and Chris Eubank could be that somebody. Chris Eubank Jr, excuse me. Let me know what you guys think. If the fight were to take place, drop in the comment section. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, Ego signing off.
Guys left at 160. That would be the priorities to unify the titles. If there's a big fight that comes up at 168, he has no hesitation of moving up or even moving down. I mean, he's a small middleweight, so he would move down as well.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think you agree with a lot of fans that say that he may be avoided by like the Cottos and fighters like that?
There's no question. I mean, when I go down the list, up and down the list with HBO, and who would be possible and who's not possible, it always seems to be, we fight him, but just not next. So that's what we're going to make a shirt, Triple G, just not next. So people don't want to say they don't want to fight him, but it's just hard to get him in the ring at that particular time.